The fairy tales on screens and the reality in Tehran. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today, we are completely setting aside those polished fairy tales you see on television and mainstream media about freedom, democracy, and stopping the nuclear threat. Today we will not look at the map from Washington or Tel Aviv, but directly through the windows of Tehran with that cold and strategic mindset. In front of us stands a U.S.-Israel alliance, and Iran is the target. For Israel, this war may be an operation to erase the nuclear ghost that has haunted them for years. But for Washington, the situation is very different, friends. This war is actually the last bullet of an empire drowning in trillions of dollars of debt, desperately trying to prevent its currency, the dollar, from losing its global reputation. Let's uncover together the dirty smell of oil and the flow of money hidden beneath the headlines. Tehran left alone. Why is the timing now? So why did these hawks choose this exact moment to attack? Strategists in Tehran were aware of a painful reality. On the global chessboard, Iran had fallen into a gap where its two biggest allies would not be able to provide direct and immediate support this time. Russia's deadlock. Russia is stuck in the mud of the long and exhausting war in Ukraine. Moscow, consumed by its own problems, can no longer project weight in global affairs, and does not have the luxury of transferring military power directly to Tehran. China's Taiwan lock. On the other side stands the People's Republic of China. Beijing's focus is entirely on the Taiwan Strait. The enormous tension it faces with the United States over Taiwan has tied China's hands as well. So when Washington looked behind itself, it saw this. Russia is busy, China is locked down. If we strike Iran, nobody will directly confront us and risk a global war. This geopolitical isolation became the biggest trigger for launching the war. Friends, this behavior from the United States is nothing new. This empire sees it as its right to seize every underground resource it sets its eyes on. Remember, not too long ago the President of the United States openly said he wanted to buy Greenland from Denmark with money. Sounds like a joke, doesn't it? Asking for an entire island from a European country. Why? Because beneath Greenland's ice lie some of the richest rare earth elements, uranium and untouched mineral reserves in the world. We saw the same mentality in Venezuela. To overthrow the leader of Venezuela, the country with the world's largest proven oil reserves, they attempted cross-border operations, offered rewards, and organized coups. Just as they once flew Manuel Noriega out of Panama, they considered every method acceptable in order to seize Venezuela's underground wealth. Now the same plan is active for Iran. Occupying Iran means taking control of the world's fourth largest oil reserves and second largest natural gas reserves. The plan is simple. First bomb the country, seize control of the oil wells, then send giant American corporations like Halliburton and Lockheed Martin into the region to rebuild the destroyed cities. Steal the oil and then pump billions of dollars into their own companies through reconstruction contracts. A complete cycle of modern colonialism. History clearly shows us this. Whenever the United States becomes economically cornered internally, whenever its external debt skyrockets and the global dominance of the dollar begins to shake, gunfire suddenly rises somewhere in the world. Let's refresh our memories with two vivid examples from the past. Iraq, 2003. The moment Saddam Hussein said, "I will no longer sell oil in dollars but in euros," the United States invaded Baghdad one morning under the lie that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. Libya, 2011. Gaddafi planned to unite Africa and create a gold-backed currency called the African dinar to sell oil with it. We all know how that ended. Today, U.S. external debt exceeds $34 trillion. The dollar is suffering the greatest loss of credibility in its history due to the BRICS nations searching for alternatives. From Tehran's perspective, this war is Washington's way of saying, I am still here, I make the rules, and I punish anyone who abandons the dollar. In other words, the goal is to repair the economy and restart the broken gears through the war industry. Now let's move to the most concrete part of all, the part that affects everyone's pockets. We can understand that this war was entirely planned around underground resources and commodities simply by looking at price charts. Before the war, oil prices were calm in the $70 to $80 range. Gold was resistant against inflation but moving sideways. The dollar, meanwhile, was losing strength in global markets amid debates questioning whether its throne was shaking. During the war, it's a current situation. The moment weapons erupted in the Strait of Hormuz, Iran's vital artery, 20% of the world's oil supply was put at risk. Oil prices suddenly jumped to the $130 to $150 range. Investors searching for safe havens rushed into gold, driving gold prices to historic records. The dollar, meanwhile, artificially regained value because the fear created by this global chaos forced people back into cash. In other words, Washington set the world on fire to protect the value of its unbacked dollar and manipulated commodity markets in its own favor. To summarize, friends, the spirit of resistance in the streets of Tehran understands that this war is not merely a military defense. Iran knows that the real force standing against it is not nuclear weapons, but a hungry economic monster seeking to seize its oil and sovereignty. Looking at the current situation, military operations have reached a complete stalemate. Neither can the United States fully swallow Iran, nor can Iran completely escape this pressure. However, the entire world is paying the price of this massive gamble through soaring oil prices and inflation. Do you think the United States can save its collapsing economy through this dangerous war game? Or will this move become the beginning of the end for the American empire? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next strategic analysis. Goodbye.